there's a lot of talk here in Iowa that Florida Senator Marco Rubio may do well tonight, perhaps better than pollsters have predicted. But what about that? Let's talk about it with Senator Rubio, who's here with us on set. Senator, thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Your feeling going in, where you'll finish?
I feel very positive about it. I mean, our energy's been growing here every day. We see the crowds growing, the support growing, the people we're signing up continues to grow. We'll see what it leads to tonight, but I'm very confident we'll have a strong showing here. And I think people are starting to realize that if I'm our nominee, not only can I unite the Republican Party, which right now is quite divided, I can help grow the conservative movement by taking our message to people that haven't voted for us before, people that are living the way I grew up. And also, that's why I think I give us the best chance to beat Hillary Clinton.
But you know you're not going to win tonight.
Well, we don't know what it's going to lead to. We're not the favorite. We're not the front runner.
But
we know that it's an uphill climb.
Something less than #1 spot.
I never considered myself to be the front runner here. I think other people have been able to spend more money and put more resources, but I feel very good about our team. Our team has really done a great job here, and we feel very positive.
Why do you think that you can be the first GOP candidate in modern politics to not win in Iowa and in New Hampshire and go on to get the nomination?
Well, I would just say this is quite an unusual cycle. We've never had a race like this where you have 11 credible candidates running. I mean, people that are accomplished and running. And then there are at least 5 people that in any other cycle would be the front runner that in this time are probably polling in the single digits. I mean, that's the kind of race we're in. So I don't think you're going to get the full understanding of this race until it narrows, until there's 5 people on that stage or 4 people on that stage. As long as there's 7 or 8 choices, you know, you're going to have people divided. But I'm very positive about the way we've continued to grow. I feel very optimistic, and I think we're going to have a good night tonight.
A couple of points. The national debt reached $19 trillion officially. We announced at the top of the show. What does a President Rubio do?
We deal with Social Security and Medicare. We save those programs. Those are the long-term drivers combined with the interest on the debt of our debt problem. And so I have a plan that's detailed on my website, marcorubio.com, that details how we save Social Security and Medicare. We don't disrupt it for people that are on it now, but there will be changes to the way that program works for me or people younger than me, like my children. Not unreasonable changes, but those changes bring the growth of those programs to a manageable level, and if you combine it with robust and sustained economic growth, you bring the debt under control.
Think about your entire political career. What's the single biggest problem you fixed or helped fix?
Well, there are a number. Obviously, I was the state legislature. I was the Speaker of the House in Florida. We dealt with a very serious issue while I was there, and that was a law or a ruling by the Supreme Court that allowed private developers to take private property away using eminent domain. When I was in Florida, even before I became Speaker, we passed a law that is now model legislation for the country. In the U.S. Senate, unfortunately, most of my career there, the 5 years I've been there, 4 have been under Harry Reid and that leadership, and yet we still achieve things. We brought accountability to the VA. Today, you can fire a senior executive at the VA because of my law. Today, there is no bailout fund in Obamacare because I led the effort to get rid of it. Today, there are additional sanctions on Hezbollah because last month I passed a law that imposed those sanctions. So I'm proud of what we've done, but I'm even more excited about what we're going to do when I'm president.
Well, you get the criticism. Donald Trump on the trail says you haven't made a payroll. The governors say you haven't made executive decisions. How do you respond to that?
Because the president is not presidents don't run the economy. The private sector runs the economy. Barack Obama thinks the president runs the economy. We are the party that understands the private sector runs the economy. The president's job is to support economic policies that allow the private sector to succeed. The one thing the president has to be is the commander-in-chief. And there is no one running for president, especially in the Republican Party, that has more experience or a better understanding of our national security issues than I do. I have more foreign policy, national security, and intelligence experience than everyone on that Republican debate stage combined.
Can you name 3 people you'd see in a Rubio administration?
Well, I wouldn't, because it's presumptuous for me to do that, and I'm not sure they were willing to. I would say that we have a very talented field of candidates, and I think among that field there are people that you would consider. I mean, if you look at the people that are running for president, despite our differences, we have a very talented Republican Party, and that's why when I'm our nominee, we're going to bring the Republican Party together, and I honestly believe that from the field of people running, there are going to be some quality people that are going to be willing to serve our government.
You've talked a lot about the Gang of 8, and you've dealt with the criticisms there. You don't talk a lot about your support for trade, TPP, but you do support it.
Well, I support a free trade agreement. Now, we have a particular deal that's been signed. No one has come out on that deal yet other than people that say I'm against it no matter what, because the International Trade Commission, an arm of Congress, is reviewing those 5,000 pages. They'll issue a report probably in May that'll outline the costs and the benefits of the deal, and then I'll make a decision. I support free trade, but I don't just support any deal. It has to be a good deal. If this one is not a good deal, we'll have to renegotiate it.
Last thing, Senator. The New York Times is out with a piece, and it says this, quote, Implicit in Senator Rubio's attacks on President Obama is that Americans have a good reason to be fatigued by a leader whose chief assets as a candidate were newness and vivacity. In Iowa and beyond, Republican voters may conclude that the world Marco Rubio paints in such gloomy shades is better suited to an older, more worldly candidate, even if his name is Donald Trump. Should that be the case, then Rubio will remain for this election cycle at least everyone's second choice.
Yeah, I don't usually listen to a lot of the opinions in the New York Times to begin with, but suffice it to say, I don't have a gloomy view of the future. I think America can be greater than it's ever been. Not if we elect Hillary Clinton or Bernie Sanders. If we elect me as President of the United States, America, I believe, can be greater than it's ever been.
Senator, thanks for the time.
Thank you.